This Sacramento County Sheriff's deputy faces charges of having sex with a 16-year-old. Shauna Bishop was arrested back in 2019 after the teen's father, who also worked for the Sheriff's Department, expressed concern. The Sacramento County District Attorney's Office says she pleaded guilty this week to one count of unlawful sexual intercourse. She's scheduled to be sentenced September 23rd.
And now former Sacramento County Sheriff's deputy is headed to jail for having sex with a 16-year-old. Shauna Bishop was arrested in 2019 after the teen's father, who also worked for the department, expressed concern. She pled guilty to one count of unlawful sexual intercourse. Today, Bishop was sentenced to 1 year in county jail, 5 years probation, and must register as a sex offender.
A dance teacher in Delaware County is accused of sexually assaulting a teenage student. 24-year-old Carly Green of Aston is facing felony charges. Investigators say the victim told police the relationship started in 2018 when he was 15 years old. Green was an instructor at the dance studio where the victim was enrolled. Authorities say they found inappropriate messages exchanged and nude photos on the teen's cell phone.
Physical education teacher has been sentenced now to 9 months behind bars for having a sexual relationship with a 13-year-old boy. She is just the latest in a string of female teachers caught crossing the line with young students.
Sentenced on multiple counts of sexual battery against an unidentified teenage boy. The encounters took place over the course of 3 months last year, one of them reportedly in the school gym. Rogers, a former homecoming queen who taught PE at the school for 2 years, lived at the boy's house for a brief period. His mother once called her a family friend. But after investigators discovered the relationship, they arrested her in February, a month after her husband had filed for divorce. Under the terms of her sentence, Rogers must surrender her teaching certificate, be registered as a sex offender, and cannot profit from the case or give interviews. She'll be under probation for 8 years once she's released from prison.
It was November 2005. Miss Turner was married to Chris Turner, a high school basketball coach. She was a newlywed. It didn't stop the teacher from having sex with her student. In 3 months' time, they apparently had sex everywhere. At her home, at the school, even inside the student's home. Apparently no one, including her own parents, was the wiser. Miss Turner admitted to sending him sexually explicit videos, like this one. Wearing thigh-high stockings and a black thong bikini. She also texted nude selfies and photos of herself involved in sexual activity. Turner faced statutory rape and sexual battery charges. She took a plea deal, was given an 8-year sentence but served only 6 months. However, her freedom was short-lived. She faced new charges just a month later for sexting the same boy. Turner ordered back to the slammer. She served about 6 years in prison this time, released in August of 2012. But wait, June 2015, Turner was arrested again. Today she's facing felony charges, accused of working with 2 inmates to smuggle contraband, cell phones into a state prison.
Brianne Altice is sentenced this afternoon for having sex with students. The 35-year-old was accused of having sex with 3 teens who were not her students when the relationships took place.
So Brianne Altice being sentenced to 2 consecutive terms of 1 to 15 years in prison. Altogether, she's looking at serving as much as 30 years in prison.
Brianne Altice, 34 years old, a former high school English teacher. She was married, a mother of 2, known as the cool teacher. Students loved to hang out in her classroom. One of them even skipped class to be with her. He was 17. She would help him with his homework. And that's when things got twisted. It was September 2013. They texted during school hours, kissed in between class periods. By June 2014, she had allegedly texted him a photo of her breast. He considered her his girlfriend, and he wasn't the only one. 2 other male students, 16 and 17 years old, said they also had sexual relations with the teacher. But it wasn't until a teen victim reported the sex to police. That's all it took. Detectives say the boy was able to describe the layout of his teacher's home, as well as the tattoos on her body. Altice was arrested, released on bond, but then she got busted again. This time for having sex with a teen 3 more times while she was out on bond. Her husband filed for divorce. She pleaded guilty to 3 counts of forcible sex abuse, 1 for each student.
Elsewhere, new tonight, a Calhoun County teacher is facing charges for allegedly having sex with a student. Stephanie Pruett is charged with engaging in a sex act with a student under the age of 19. According to the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office, the student was 17 years old. Pruett was arrested today. She teaches at Weaver High School.
An Alabama high school teacher is under arrest after being accused of having a 5-month-long sexual relationship with a student. Stephanie Henry Pruett was a high school and Bible as literature teacher 70 miles east of Birmingham at Weaver High School. The 28-year-old teacher allegedly started her relationship with the 17-year-old student in October of last year, according to the Calhoun County Sheriff. According to AL.com, Pruett is facing felony charges and could spend up to 20 years in prison. If convicted, she could also be required to register as a sex offender for life. According to her bio on the school's website, she is married and has a son. Pruett is currently suspended from her teaching position. She has not yet entered a plea.
Documents biology teacher Deanna Higgins had sex with a 16-year-old student at least twice. Once was at her home, the other time was in his pickup truck in her driveway while her children slept. These incidences allegedly happened in the 2008-2009 school year, and they are why she is charged with having an improper relationship between an educator and a student and sexual assault of a child. She got busted when her ex-husband found incriminating text messages inside her old phone she had given to their 8-year-old son, and he went to authorities. Higgins is the 4th Spring ISD teacher accused of having sex with students in the last 2 years.
27-year-old Lindsey Jarvis has been charged with 2 counts of third-degree rape after police say she had a sexual relationship with a teenager under the age of 16.
According to police, Jarvis was arrested on Friday after police uncovered evidence on her phone showing she was in a relationship with a teenage boy. Jarvis also faces charges of rape, sodomy, and unlawful transaction with a minor in Woodford County. Versailles police are leading the investigation and say all the charges are related to the same victim. Now Jarvis is due back in Fayette County Court in July and Woodford County Court in August. She is currently out on bail, but a judge has ordered she have no contact with the teenage victim.
25-year-old Nikki Scherwitz is a mother and a wife. She was also a 10th grade English teacher at Brazosport High School in Freeport for about 9 months, but not anymore. Freeport police say Scherwitz had a sexual relationship with a 10th grade student. Police say it had been going on for a few weeks. They were tipped off by this after she allegedly showed up to an after-prom party on April 20th. Scherwitz resigned from her position and she was able to post that $50,000 bond. We also asked officers where is her young son. We're told that the father and the wife Scherwitz, they have been separated, and that little boy is with the father.
Volusia County Sheriff's deputies say Peterson engaged in a sexual relationship with a 14-year-old former student of hers. The teen told deputies it began last November. He said Peterson would send him nude pictures of herself. She would also pick him up from his house late at night so that they could be together. Investigators say the boy's parents called law enforcement in January, and deputies arrested Peterson on Wednesday. Peterson was charged with 2 counts of lewd and lascivious battery and 1 count of sending harmful material to a minor. Her bond set at $25,000. And that's why she wanted to be released on her own recognizance today. But the judge met her halfway, reducing her bond to $12,500, an amount she posted almost immediately.
Deputies say 26-year-old Stephanie Peterson, once a teacher at New Smyrna Beach Middle School, is now facing charges, accused of having sex with a 14-year-old boy and sending nude pictures. Sheriff Mike Chitwood says the sexual relationship started in November outside of campus, where Peterson picked up the 8th grader from home and dropped him off late at night until the boy told his parents. Peterson is also accused of buying the 8th grader marijuana and bowls for smoking it, his grades suffering after their relationship started. 27-year-old Stephanie Peterson is headed to prison after admitting she had a sexual relationship with her 14-year-old student while teaching at New Smyrna Beach Middle School, who doctors say suffers from depression and bipolar disorder. Her attorney says it's the reason for her indiscretion because during that time she was in a manic episode and not medicated properly. But the victim's mother says Peterson was well aware of her actions, grooming her son a year before the late-night sexual encounter started that also involved drugs. Peterson faced up to 10 years in prison, but her attorney asked for community service or house arrest based on her mental illness. The judge ruled for Peterson to spend some time behind bars.
This is the second teacher in New Smyrna Beach accused of having sex with a student in less than a year.
Volusia County deputies say Megan Parris had sex with a 16-year-old student, sent him nude photos, and told him she loved him.
New Smyrna Beach high school teacher Megan Parris has never been in trouble in her 6 years with the district until now. Deputies say the 28-year-old math teacher befriended one of her 16-year-old students and had sex with the boy on at least 2 occasions. The student told deputies he had sex with Parris twice in her car by the beach after initially telling them he had sex at her house. He was also able to describe the inside of Parris's home as well as a tattoo and scar that she had that is normally covered up. In the report, one of Parris's friends claims Parris told her, quote, they did have sex and she liked the attention. Parris was removed from the classroom in March as soon as these allegations surfaced and put on paid leave, and that's where she remains tonight.
Well, Shari, the school says that Bridget Sipera was a teacher and a girls lacrosse coach here. She has been fired after she was charged yesterday, accused of sexually assaulting a student. 36-year-old Bridget Sipera of Cherry Hill faces charges of sexual assault and endangering the welfare of a child. Prosecutors say the literature teacher at Camden Catholic High School repeatedly sexually assaulted a 17-year-old student. According to court documents, the victim contacted detectives earlier this month, telling police Sipera initiated the relationship in January of 2019. The victim said the relationship continued for about 18 months, including about 60 sexual encounters in various locations throughout Cherry Hill, inside homes and vehicles. Court documents say Sipera admitted to the sexual relationship when contacted by police.